The second those whispers started flying, palace walls practically seemed to rattle. Not because of anything officially announced, but because of what people suspected was quietly lurking beneath the surface. A bombshell report had detonated across royal watcher circles. And suddenly, one question was everywhere. Had a long-buried scandal finally returned to haunt Meghan Markle at the exact moment she could least afford it? What started as yet another uncomfortable headline quickly snowballed into something far bigger. A fierce battle involving reputation, influence, money, and a royal family that appeared increasingly unwilling to keep quiet. The drama exploded when a sensational report claimed that questions surrounding borrowed designer fashion had sparked a storm unlike anything Meghan had faced in years. Almost overnight, social media detectives, royal commentators, and fashion insiders began digging through old stories, hunting for clues, patterns, and forgotten incidents. What they uncovered, or believed they uncovered, only poured gasoline onto an already raging blaze. Suddenly, discussions were no longer centered on a single controversy. Instead, people started connecting dots stretching back years, building a narrative that painted an increasingly troubling picture. And that was exactly when the pressure intensified. The public reaction was swift, emotional, and relentless. Every old rumor seemed to resurface at once. Every disputed story found a brand new audience. Every unanswered question became another piece of a growing mystery. Critics insisted the warning signs had always been there. Supporters argued that Meghan was once again being unfairly targeted. But no matter which side people chose, one thing was impossible to ignore. The conversation was growing louder with every passing hour. As speculation spread, attention shifted toward the fashion world itself. Luxury brands, image consultants, and celebrity insiders suddenly became central players in the unfolding drama. The report suggested that major fashion figures had grown increasingly frustrated behind the scenes. Whether those claims were accurate barely mattered anymore. The perception alone was creating chaos. Online discussions erupted with theories about private disagreements, damaged relationships, and closed doors that once seemed permanently open. Then came the financial questions. Those questions transformed the controversy from an embarrassing public relations headache into something far more serious. Rumors began circulating that enormous financial consequences could be looming. Numbers were tossed around, estimates multiplied, and headlines became increasingly dramatic. With every new article, the image of Meghan standing confidently before cameras seemed to clash with reports describing mounting pressure behind closed doors. And according to the narrative spreading across media circles, desperation often leads to dangerous decisions. Observers began speculating about what options remained available. Could damaged relationships be repaired? Could public opinion be reversed? Could influential allies still be convinced to step forward? Or had the situation already moved beyond saving? That is where the royal family entered the story once again. For years, the relationship between Meghan, Prince Harry, and the monarchy had generated endless headlines. Every interview, every statement, every silence carried enormous weight. Now, as this latest controversy grew even larger, attention naturally turned toward the palace. People wanted answers. More importantly, they wanted reactions. But the reaction they received was silence. And sometimes silence speaks louder than words. The absence of immediate public support sparked an entirely new wave of speculation. Why was nobody speaking? Why was nobody defending her? Why was nobody attempting to calm the growing storm? To royal watchers, the silence itself became a clue. Every hour without a statement generated even more theories. Meanwhile, reports suggested that Meghan was facing mounting pressure from every direction. Public scrutiny, media criticism, questions about credibility, questions about influence, questions about the future of the Sussex brand itself. That final detail fascinated observers more than anything else. Because the Sussex brand was never just a title. It became a symbol, a business asset, a public identity, and a source of influence. And according to increasingly dramatic speculation, it was now being discussed as part of a much larger power struggle. Suddenly, rumors began circulating that, just when people thought the drama couldn't get any messier, whispers emerged that behind-the-scenes conversations were already underway. Alleged messages, alleged negotiations, alleged efforts to find solutions before the situation spiraled even further beyond control. Whether those conversations actually happened remained unclear, but the rumors alone ignited an entirely new chapter of the saga. Then came the most explosive twist yet. Whispers started spreading that Prince William had become aware of developments unfolding behind palace walls. If true, it would mean the future king was no longer simply watching events from a distance. It would mean he was actively assessing a situation that many believed threatened to trigger another major royal crisis. And if there is one thing palace insiders constantly repeat, it is this. When Prince William decides to act, he rarely does anything halfway. The atmosphere surrounding the royal feud grew even darker as speculation reached a boiling point. Every newspaper headline seemed more explosive than the one before it. Every television panel claimed to possess exclusive information. Every anonymous source appeared to know something the public did not. Yet beneath all the noise, one question continued haunting royal watchers around the world. Who would make the next move? As rumors continued swirling, attention increasingly shifted toward Prince William. Commentators described him as calm on the surface, but deeply aware of the damage endless public disputes were causing the monarchy. While others chased headlines, William appeared determined to project stability. But inside royal circles, stability can be a surprisingly powerful weapon. Meanwhile, Meghan Markle found herself at the center of yet another media storm. Whether fair or unfair, every story seemed to lead directly back to her. Critics dissected her every move. Supporters argued she was being unfairly targeted. The divide grew larger than ever. The debate was no longer simply about one controversy. It had evolved into a battle over reputation, influence, and competing versions of the truth. Behind palace gates, advisors reportedly worried about an entirely different problem. The longer the feud continued, the more attention it attracted. Every public disagreement generated fresh headlines. Every rumor produced another wave of speculation. The institution itself risked becoming trapped inside an endless cycle of drama. Then something unexpected happened. Instead of escalating the conflict, senior royal figures allegedly began discussing ways to draw a firm line beneath the chaos. Sources claimed private conversations focused on protecting the future rather than endlessly reliving old battles. The objective was simple: stop the story from controlling the monarchy. But the public was not ready to move on. Social media erupted with theories. Old interviews resurfaced. Forgotten photographs reappeared. Every tiny detail was examined like evidence in a massive investigation. People who had never met a single member of the royal family suddenly spoke with complete certainty about hidden motives and secret plans. And that was when the situation became truly dangerous. Because once a narrative takes hold, facts often struggle to keep pace with speculation. Observers began noticing a pattern. The more dramatic the rumors became, the more attention they received. The quieter voices vanished beneath waves of sensational headlines. Every claim generated another claim. Every theory produced an even bigger theory. For Prince William, the challenge was obvious. The future king could not spend every day fighting rumors. Yet he also could not ignore a controversy threatening to dominate public discussion. Palace insiders claimed he believed the monarchy's greatest strength was patience. Time, they argued, would reveal which stories survived and which collapsed beneath their own weight. For Meghan Markle, the pressure remained relentless. The spotlight never moved away. Cameras followed every appearance. Commentators analyzed every expression. Even silence became a headline. As the conflict continued, both sides found themselves trapped inside a story larger than any individual person. It had become a global spectacle fueled by emotion, loyalty, outrage, and endless curiosity. And perhaps that was the biggest twist of all. The real battle was no longer taking place behind palace walls. It was unfolding in full public view across screens, headlines, and conversations around the world. Everyone wanted answers. Everyone wanted resolution. But the deeper people looked, the more complicated the story seemed to become. And as another wave of rumors began emerging, many royal watchers were left wondering whether this chapter was finally ending, or whether an even bigger storm was only just getting started.